I just want to mention one thing, if I can, concerning Kevin's entire discourse. I'm fascinated, but this relates very much to what I've been learning here, and the most important thing to me is you actually said it, Duane. At one point, you said entities actually have a right to violate your body or your consciousness, in the sense that that's what we're here for. We're actually, he calls this a human farming planet. That had never dawned to me. You'd never hear that in Ekankar. Nobody would ever tell you anything like that. So that's basically, I mean, we're taught that we're here to learn, yes, but at the same time, we don't realize what the stakes are and what's really happening, how we're actually being misled all the time. And that has to do with the fact that somebody's always, I mean, what an incredible challenge for the human consciousness. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Charles, for seeing that and starting to recognize it, because yeah, well, myself also going through this process and, you know, heading along here and taking a look at what's going on. And just like when I got the Rod of Power in 2001, the first thing the boys introduced me to was the influence. And we were like in a high school gymnasium where you have those lunch tables that you see in movies and whatever, rows of them. Well, there was just a few of us, and there was the influence sitting on the next table over, smiling at me. I immediately recognized who she was, and she became the third head. So Paul gave the hint, he gave the idea of the two-headed God, which most people, you know, they just see God and then there's the devil over there, but he brought that all together for us, and all of a sudden that was a real eye-opener. And of course, religious communities, they don't care about that idea, but it's very, very real, just like the governments and what they do, etc. But there was this part that people really didn't see that was very sneaky, and it was really created from the consciousness of all this. And yes, as we're in creation, we are totally vulnerable to everything. It's not that we're here to just be goody-goody people, etc. No, life is big, and to recognize everything. So everybody has a right to do whatever they want. So you got to figure out how to defend yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly attacked, and especially unconsciously. So on the surface world, we have the supposed police and the armies and then even the government, etc., and authorities that supposedly protect us. But it's really a setup by them to control others, etc., and an excuse, and they really create all the conflicts, and they have the right to do this. And so we're just in this mishmash and trying to figure it out. So more so than just label things like, oh, I'm spiritual and I have nothing to do with that and whatever. Those are cute little ideas we go through when we're kids growing up. But as we grow up and we get out into the real world, we see that, wow, it's, you know, those cute little ideas just don't work anymore. And that's real. And people will ask the question, well, gee, why can't they be nice? Why can't they be honest? Somebody's got to pass a law, whatever. Well, doesn't matter, because the lawmakers are crooked and deceptive. They're the ones passing the laws, and those are the ones that people are looking to. So yes, this is a real wake up. So in the corporation, the idea finally came about, oh, the heck with the earth. You know, we just want to get to some place that's nicer and get on with the journey. Well, now you discover that those places are just places that are here and there, basically in creation, and that all of life is an isness to be recognized. And yes, it's a heads up to defend yourself, because yes, they do have the right, just like the government, even though they tell you that there are laws and you have rights, but they come right into people's houses and steal everything.
Yep.
Prison if they want to. Yep. And they do this every day of the week. They bomb different countries, etc. And so you can do all the protesting and pass all the laws you want, but you know what? They're just going to say, screw you, we're going to do it anyhow. So what does that tell you? It's a free-for-all. So real guidance, real education makes sense for the first time through everything we've been through. And yes, Everybody thank yourselves for recognizing what's really taking place here, more so than a little cute passive spiritual path where you just stay pizza dough like the members of the corporation, because that's exactly what they are. And you can see that on the real side for yourself. The guide will show you, because they're all duh in their consciousness, thinking that the emotional love attachments are going to do it for them. Well, it does it for the reptilians, but for them, well, they got to figure it out, and they have to decide to take the risk. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
that people are waking up. That you're waking up. That's what it's for. And so as we all become more aware and real, hey, things became okay, and we have the challenge here to help this world out and help others become more aware. And eventually you recognize how to stand real with the all is, and that is the best part. That is the biggest journey. So it's so cool.
This is Ramone. I wanted to ask a question. What is the Supreme Deceptor? I thought it was the influence, but I guess it's not.
That's a very interesting part. As I wrote book 4, The Adventures of Rebazar, this all came into play, my experience with this. And yes, first came the influence. Okay, that's the cuddly part of our personal self that becomes influence, and we kind of like it. We like to influence others and to be influenced by others. It's kind of a way of life. But then as you go through the curtain and the barriers into other places and levels, all of a sudden there's something else in the darkness, and that's right before the deep dark border in the hidden wherever accesses of the etherical realm, the unconscious mind, which is the Supreme Deceptor that basically controls everything because of agreement, and because of the cause and effect agreements that the Kalam God and others have decided. Well, they've actually created this entity, just like the influence, and the influence is an aspect of that. And so even the Kalam God is, you might say, powerless with this individual. And its reference would be like that of that old movie I saw in high school, Forbidden Planet, with Leslie Nielsen and Jack Kelly, to where this individual, this old movie star, he had discovered on another planet these alien technology, and there he created a monster unconsciously, but he didn't understand what the monster was until these people from Earth came in a flying saucer, and all of a sudden they had to deal with it and finally realized that, hey, you created this monster. So he needed an objective viewpoint. And so, again, that's what the Supreme Deceptor is in the etheric, and I really go over it in book 4.